Hey everyone, Piano Man Chuck here. Today I want to talk about playing different pianos. Now, this applies to somebody who's going to be playing other than at their home or their studio or their apartment all the time. If you're only playing at your home or studio or apartment on the same piano all the time, this video does not apply to you. This video is aimed more at the person, the pianist, that wants to perform out at other places. So you're used to whatever it is you're playing at home, whether it's an acoustic piano, and that acoustic could be a upright or a console piano or a grand or a baby grand or a concert grand, or it could be a digital piano, which is a stage piano or a workstation or an arranger or any other kind of keyboard. So as long as it has keys like a piano, and when you play it sounds like a piano, that's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about one aspect in particular, which is called action. Now, action on a keyboard refers to how the keys react to you. So how hard do you have to play it? How fast does it come back up? And so on and so forth. Action is really important to a lot of people, and they like to have the action a certain way. And if you're only playing this at home or your home or office studio or your apartment, fine, that's great. You found the action you like, supposedly, and you're done. You don't need this video. But if you want to perform out, it's a whole world of difference. So let's say that you're used to whatever it is that you're playing at home, and you go to a party or whatever. Your boss throws a party and has you come over with your wife or your husband or whatever, and they want you to play. Okay, you have to do it. I mean, it's your boss. So you get up there, and not only do you have to deal with being nervous because you're playing in front of a bunch of people, some of whom you don't know, and some of whom are responsible for your future career at the company, whatever. So maybe I'm exaggerating, but these situations happen. So you're going to try and play the piano at a completely unfamiliar setup, a different piano that has a different action. It doesn't respond like yours. So in dealing with stage fright or nervousness, you're also dealing with a different action. You might find that you have to play the keys harder to get the same result that you do at home, or maybe softer to get that same result that you do at home. That's called action. So, and no two pianos are really alike. I mean, from model to model can vary, even though they're using the same kind of key bed and so on. So here's the deal. You're playing at home and everything is perfect. You get to your boss's gig or party or any place else, and you're trying something that you're not used to and you have to play harder. You kind of adjust, but it's hard because you're also trying to play in front of a bunch of people you've never seen before, and you might not be comfortable with that. So this is about playing on different types of pianos. Now, I've been playing all my life, and on different pianos, different keyboards and everything. I played just about everything that you could imagine. And to me, like any other professional pianist, it's not a big deal. I can get used to an action in about 10 seconds. Okay. But for everybody else, that's a little bit difficult to do. You're not used to that. Sure, you can still play it, but you're not used to it. So here's the way to get used to different actions. If you have a digital piano at home, and some of these have velocity settings, and velocity means speed. So it detects how fast you hit a key or how hard. The faster or harder you hit it, the louder. And the slower, the softer. So that's called velocity. You can go from low to high velocity, back down to low again. All right, so that's what gives you the dynamics, is this velocity setting. And just to give you an example here, on this particular piano, I've got 5 velocity settings. I've got normal, which is what I'm using now. Now let's go into heavy. I'm playing it the same way I did before, but it sounds lighter because it's a heavier action. And if I go to heavy plus, hear how much lower that is? I'm not pressing any harder or any lighter. I'm still doing the same thing, and it sounds lower. Now let's go back to normal so you know what it was like. Now let's go to light. I'm not pressing any harder, but it sounds louder. And light plus. Okay, so that's what velocity settings are like, and varying from digital piano to digital piano. Some don't have velocity settings, but your better ones do, where you can set from light to heavy, or maybe even numbers from 0 to 127 and so on and so forth. But the idea of that is to get you to find your comfort level. And when you want to play out on another piano, the trick to do that is to play as many different pianos as you possibly can. Now, not everybody has access to a whole bunch of different pianos. But in order to get that access, you can simulate that with your velocity settings on whatever digital piano you have that supports that. So even though it may not be comfortable to you, set it at the lightest velocity settings and play it that way for a week. And you'll find if you play it every day for a week, you'll get used to it, and you play it just about as well as the way you've always had the velocity settings to your liking in the past. Then set it to the other extreme, heavy plus, the hardest. Play that again for a week, and you may not be comfortable with that for a couple of days, but eventually it'll work. So if you play around with the velocity settings, and there's so many various different velocity settings, at least 128 on each one of these digital pianos, and the way they have it set up, you might have like 3 or 4 or 5 available to you, and some might have the whole spectrum. But the bottom line is to set it so you're playing at different velocity levels that you're not comfortable with, and you'll find after playing it for a few days, you can master it. This is going to help you go from your home or studio or office piano to a friend's piano, or you're at a restaurant, they have a piano, there's a party, everybody wants you to play, or maybe you're a gigging musician and you need to get used to how to play any piano that's thrown in front of you. Now, here's the deal. I mean, I've been playing all my life on different pianos, so like I said, I can get used to any action in about 10 seconds. But there was one particular place that I played at. They had this particular model of Samick. It was like a concert grand. It was like 9 feet long. And wow, that was very different. That wasn't like anything that I've ever played before. It was so light that, I mean, you could probably drop a feather, and when it hit the key, it played. It took me a while to get used to that. Other than that, that's the only one in my entire life that I had a problem with. And you probably won't run into anything that extreme. But those occasions arise, and you need to be able to adapt to whatever keyboard action and velocity levels that has. That way you'll be able to play. All right, so just so that you know that the velocity settings, in case you didn't know what velocity levels and velocity settings was before this video, now you know, use it so that you can change those velocity settings and levels to levels that you are not comfortable with. Play it for a few days up to a week, you'll get comfortable with it. Go the other route. If you went light, now go heavy. If you went heavy, now go light. And everything in between. And that is going to do more for you for adapting to other pianos that you're not used to when you're at a party or a restaurant or a club or any place else where your friends or whatever want you to play. All right. Now, the other thing is, I go onto these forums and I see all these people complaining about the most nominal things like, oh, these two keys here, the space between the two keys is more than all the others, or from every C and D that's on the piano, the space is more or less, or looking at it this way, some are higher than the others, some are lower. Well, guess what? It won't affect the way you play. Looking at it might have a placebo effect, thinking, it's not going to play as well, but believe me, it's going to play fine. The appearance seems to be important to a lot of people. I have gone to a lot of places where they have an upright piano where keys are one is this high, the other is like this, and so on and so forth. There's spaces that are like this, there's other keys that are like that, but as long as each key independently moves up and down, you're fine. So I get a kick out of some of these people on the forums. It seems like they're taking a micrometer and measuring that space and so on and so forth. And some actually do give you the distance between the two keys in their complaints. So I don't want to say they're hopeless, but boy, are they picky. Anyway, I hope this video has enlightened you to keyboard velocities and that kind of thing, and preparing you to play at different pianos at different venues or houses or whatever. Piano Man Chuck, peace out. Thanks for watching.